my name is Jurrien Moree. I'm living in Vlaardingen for a lot of time. I'm 64 years old. I'm an archaeologist and I work for the Department of Archaeology of the municipality of Rotterdam. And here we are in Masamuda, that's in Vlaardingen, where I live, and we are trying to create an archaeological park. It's called Masamuda, the mouth of the river Meuse.
And
it means
this is organization, or this is what is that, foundation, or this is something part with university?
Well, it's a group of volunteers here in Vlaardingen. And we started a few years ago to build that village, but it's a group of volunteers.
Hi, Jurrien.
Hello, welcome in our Neolithic village.
Yeah,
it's part of Masamuda.
It's beautiful here. It's really beautiful. I'm happy. I'm coming here. I think that a lot of people must know it, that places. That's why we try it to show and explain the people about that places. And can you tell for everyone who be listening and watching us in the future, what is that places? How it was everything starting? Who have had that idea, the concept to create that places?
Well, we started, I think, about 40 years ago.
Wow!
We wanted to create an archaeological park here in Vlaardingen, in the Broekpolder, as it's called here, the area. But we couldn't start, but until I think about 8, 9, 10 years ago, then a small group of people restarted the project, and as an idea, but they really started to build that archaeological park. So yeah, it will be a park where we can travel in time from the Mesolithic to the Neolithic to the Iron Age, the Roman period, until the Middle Ages. So that's our idea, that's what we try to create, that kind of archaeological park. Until so far we do have a Neolithic part of Masamuda, of our archaeological park, and we do have two houses from the Middle Ages. So that's our start, that's the situation today. But we will create a bigger park with reconstructions from, as I said, from the Iron Age, the Mesolithic, the Roman period. That's what we want. We want to create archaeology, but we also want to create archaeology in the specific landscape of the Neolithic, of the Bronze Age, of the Iron Age, of the Middle Ages. So it's not just archaeology, it's archaeology, landscape and flora and fauna in one.
Beautiful investigation and beautiful dream, what your realization, a lot of time and you're spending here with a lot of people who I believe it give to true hearts for that, and of course a lot of investigation. And how it was everything start? It's someone tried to accept, that's what I hear, somebody tried to prepare normal buildings, but they finding something, and exactly what they find the 40 years ago, how it was that starting?
Well, we started 7, 8, 9 years ago, making a plan.
Of course.
So we just didn't start building. Now, first we had to create a plan. Mm-hmm. What do we want? What do we want to build? How do we want to form our landscapes? That's one. But you also have to organize the financial part of it.
Yes.
Now it's volunteers, but in the future it will be a kind of professional organization. So that's in our plans. But at this moment it's all volunteers.
All volunteers.
So, yeah.
And what university exactly representation that places?
Well, it's not yeah, we do have a relation with the University of Leiden.
Yes.
There's a group of, they organize all kinds of experiments, archaeological experiments. And that group of experimental archaeologists, that's our relations with Leiden. We do use their help, the farms, creating the landscape. So that's our partner, the University of Leiden, the group of experimental archaeologists.
So with university we have a groups, of course, that's what you explain, with specialists who coming here and testing, explain, and of course give it for you something information what they know it. And so this is the first part, what you have the groups and places what help to rebuild and build for something bigger that places. And something another places, do you have something dotation, sponsors, what help with investing for that everything, because it's a lot also cash, not only voluntarily for free.
Yeah. Well, I know nothing about the financial part of it, but what I can tell is it's Vlaardingen, the city of Vlaardingen we are in. It's the Broekpolder, and it's owned by the local government, by Vlaardingen, but we can use several hectares of that Broekpolder. So that's also kind of sponsoring the project.
And do you must also pay for that, or this is
no,
for free?
No, it's for free. So that's a big sponsor.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. A second sponsor is again the local government, but also the provincial government, because we are creating this archaeological park in an area that's with a polluted subsoil. So we have to cover that subsoil with clean soil. So when covering that polluted underground subsoil, we are creating the forms, the morphology of our landscape. So with the covering of that polluted soil, we are creating rivers. We are creating the levees of it. We are.
It's a really big investigation. How we want to create it. In my observation, in that what I hear, I see in the future something, a big village, maybe in the town, what is created with that smaller, with the first houses. But of course, it's a lot. Energy, a lot cash, and a lot another help with a lot people and organization who really help for you. So we have government, we have university, we have voluntary people, we have a lot specialists with a lot section, and of course we have also people from Poland. So this is another organization to coming here, and how it was start work with that organization.
With the Polish people from Kolovrat.
Yes, Kolovrat.
Yeah, the Kolovrat people. Well, we do have here our Neolithic house. We do also have already 2 houses from the Middle Ages, and we want to put life in these 2 houses. And Kolovrat, that's a reenactment group, a Polish, a Viking reenactment group, so they can put life into these 2 houses from the Middle Ages. So they can live in it, they can exercise their sword fighting, but they can use our houses to sleep in, to make their food in, they really bring life into these 2 houses. And that's what we like. We want to show the public how was life like in the Middle Ages or in the Neolithic era. So they live in these houses during the weekend, but they also tell the public about their experiences. And it's also a kind of experiment.
And what think about that plan, your family, your friends, when you start to when you start, and now what it's they when you're starting, your friends, your family say it, no, sorry, but it's no sense, it's a big plan or something like that, or maybe you have had a lot of people who told you this is excellent, we help you, and you always can coming to us, and we can help. That's how we can.
Well, it's a very ambitious plan, of course. It's not just building one Neolithic house.
Yes.
We will create a kind of village with houses or other kind of reconstructions from diversity of periods. Most of them are enthusiastic, they are stimulating, but it's true, it costs a lot of spare time to be a volunteer in this archaeological park. It's a lot of time I'm spending, and I'm always telling people never start building an archaeological park. But I tell it with a smile. It costs a lot of time, but it's nice to work here, and it's nice to work, especially with this beautiful weather outside, with nice people. So it's not only constructing an archaeological park, it's also working outside with nice people in a social, very nice environment.
And when people coming and see it, that everything, what is usually opinion? They was shocked. It's happened because you have a lot of people with voluntarity, so that means the people when see it that they also want to help for you, they also give it something, maybe private cash with dotation.
We do have a group of volunteers. It grows, the group of volunteers.
And how many people now it's minimum?
Maybe we do have between 20 and 40 volunteers, but
nice.
It's a group of 20 people. When I look at a Sunday, last Sunday, or the Sunday before, there were 20 people working or were active in the park in Masamuda. About 8 here, but 12 in the Middle Ages. Mm-hmm. So it's an enthusiastic group. It's a nice group of people. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But did you have also opened the account for the private people who want to also give it to dotation for that places?
If they want to give money to the
something like the crowdfunding accept action, when the people can putting the cash with the private and help for the for everything.
People can visit our park on Sundays between 12 and 4, but we are here at 10 and we leave at 5, 6 o'clock. So people can visit that park on Sunday between 11 and 5. If they want, they can give a donation, but we don't ask money as an entrance fee.
So they not must buy the tickets here?
Not at this moment.
Not this moment.
Yeah. But what we want is that people visit on Sundays our park. We will tell our story, the story of the archaeology of the Rotterdam region area. But we also want that school children come to visit our park. That's our main goal. That's our educational goal. We want school classes visiting our project here to learn about their history, to learn about their past. Passive, just by looking at it, but we want to have them active. Mm-hmm. We want to have them to make fire. Maybe they can help us building houses in future. We want to making fire. We want to have them in our canoes, traveling through our area.
This is everything. I think it's motivation and inspiration also for the kids, and learn how the people live in the past. And can you explain a little bit what is the past in that places in a lot years ago? How it was everything starting, the people who living here, that's what I hear, they're living, the people except from the Roman Empire and also from Friesland, and they they created in the first the village that what you find it in the Torf and other places, and that how you can do it the next steps and rebuild and start reconstruction that old places. And can you explain how it was starting in the past? What we have the places here, who live here, and what genre or what maybe something groups, what nation?
Oh, that's
in the small, really small.
What we reconstruct in Masamuda, in our archaeological park, we start with a Mesolithic. That's hunter-gatherers. So that's we start. We will create a small camp of hunter-gatherers. Okay, then around 5000 BC, the first farmers arrived in the Netherlands. And then in the following centuries or in the following thousands of years, the hunter-gatherers in the rest of the Netherlands, but they became farmers. So here we are sitting near our Neolithic house, and we will build more Neolithic houses. So that's our second group. The hunter-gatherers, the farmers from the Neolithic. Then we will reconstruct houses from the farmers of the Iron Age. We will skip the Bronze Age, but we will build maybe a small village of the Iron Age farmers. They lived in the Western Netherlands. They lived in the wetlands. So that's then maybe that's a harsh life, but it's a good environment for the preservation of the finds from that period, from the Iron Age. So when we excavate as archaeologists an Iron Age settlement, we get a lot of information because of the good preservation conditions here. So we do not only have the pottery and the bones, but we also have the wooden art, the wooden artifacts, the building material, for example. We do have the plant remains, the food remains. So we have a lot of information because of the good preservation conditions here in the western part of the Netherlands to reconstruct an Iron Age settlement. And it's the same, we can compare, it's about the same. Iron Age and the Roman period. It's what we reconstruct is not a fort, a Roman fort. No, we are reconstructing a farmstead from the Roman period, but not the Romans, but the local people living here in this part of the Netherlands during the Roman occupation. So maybe we do have a name for that tribe, the Cananefaten.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. That's the Roman period that ends here in the Western Netherlands about 270 after Christ. It's the western part of the Netherlands. It became too wet to live here in this part of the Netherlands. So it ends at 270, the Roman period, and the people start living again in this area in the 8th century, 9th, 10th century, the Middle Ages. But between 270 and the 7th century, there's no people living here in this area. Okay, it started again around 700. For example, here in Vlaardingen, in the beginning of the 8th century, people built already a church. That's a very early church in this part of the Netherlands. A church with a settlement called Vlaardingen. We don't know, the area is then called West Frisia. but after the year 1100, the West Frisia ends, and the people started to use the name Holland for this part of the Netherlands, for the western wet part of the Netherlands, about 1100. From the Middle Ages, we will reconstruct farms from around the year 1000, and we also like to reconstruct a kind of a cloister, a monastery, not a real monastery, but a settlement related to a monastery, organized by that monastery. It's called an uithof, and from that settlement, from that uithof, people started to reclaim the marshy areas in this part of the Netherlands. They started to reclaim the area by digging small canals to drain the area, so they could use the area, they could live there, they could use it as an agricultural area. So that's done by that uithof, by that settlement related to that monastery. It's a monastery in Belgium.
Oh.
So, and they had that monastery had several settlements, several uithoven in this part of the Netherlands. We will reconstruct that settlement, that uithof. That's a church, a wooden church.
In here, that place is?
It's from Hellevoetsluis.
Oh.
It's 30 kilometers from here. We will reconstruct that uithof. It's a church with a lot of graves around it, and it's also we'll reconstruct also some houses from that settlement, 2 houses, and the walls are made of turfs.
Oh.
So that's what we built in the Middle Ages as well, and a fourth element from the Middle Ages is a small castle we will reconstruct. It's a donjon on a motte. It's a tower on a small hill surrounded by water. Mm-hmm. So that's what we will create in our village. So from the Mesolithic to the small castle, the tower castle from the Middle Ages, from the 13th century.
So if we want to, if people want to know it, except how many ages exactly you planning prepare. It's a 4 or 5 ages difficult, or how many?
The ages, it's Neolithic, it's Mesolithic, it's Iron Age, it's Roman period, and it's Middle Ages. So it's 5 periods we will reconstruct.
And minimum 5 buildings with thematic, of course, and who be opened for the tourists, for the people, for the scientists, and that how you rebuild, how it was start reconstruction, that old buildings. This is also not easy. This is something what needed for a lot time, a lot years.
Yep.
Except that building what is behind for us, how long it was building and what material you use it for that, and how you know it. You can use it and that materials, and this is something 1-to-1 to original.
Well, it's a Neolithic house.
Yes.
It's original. It's dated about 3000 BC. It's built as an experiment. So it was an experiment of the group in Leiden, the Leiden University. They worked on it, and our volunteers worked on it. It's an experiment. So we didn't use
Plan architectonic.
Yeah, we didn't use axes from iron, but we used flint axes. We used reconstructed tools from the Neolithic to build this house. We use natural materials. It's wood, it's clay, it's reed to cover the roof, and it's and rope made of natural fibers. So, and we also used skin from horse to create that building. But it's an experiment. It's built as an experiment.
So you consultate with specialists before you do it that?
Yeah, it's the group in Leiden, experts who organized the building of the house.
With the Leiden, but only with Leiden, but maybe also with something another country, if you want.
No, not in another country. No, it's
different opinion.
People from Leiden, and they have a lot of experience with experimental archaeology. Now, maybe they are the group of university. It's a university group, the most experienced university group worldwide, maybe. They do have a lot of
So you told me you use the wood. What exactly wood you use it? The people from Poland told me you exactly checking how many meters have the original in your maybe imagination. Maybe it's with that what you find with the archaeologist places, and you try to find exactly that same the wood in something another places. And what is the name that wood? What you use it? What is the tree?
Well,
you know it?
It's the western part of the Netherlands. It's a wet part of the Netherlands, and what we so you can't expect a dry tree like oak. But what was growing here was elder and ash, and we do see that these two types of wood were used building houses in the Neolithic, in the Iron Age, or in the Middle Ages. People used local wood, especially elder and ash, to build the houses. And sometimes they used other species of wood, but it's most elder and ash. So we do find elder and ash when we are excavating sites, and we do use these types of wood to reconstruct the houses.
And what material you use it to rebuild, to reconstruction, to the wall? What is that?
The wall?
Yeah.
It are wattle and daub walls.
Oh.
So it's vertical posts with the wattle around it, and we put clay against it. So that's our walls are like that of all the houses. Yep.
Yeah, but this is something glue, or use it for it was keeping with wood, or
well,
what do you use it?
You can use clay as a kind of glue.
Oh.
Yeah. It's fresh clay. It's wet clay.
Yeah.
You.
In this era, in this age, we can use it a lot materials who can definitely help and have much more to be stronger to clean everything material. But if you try to reconstruction with original, probably you use it, I don't know, maybe something X, maybe something what use it sometimes the people who paint, so they use it the X except, but that's what we know it many years ago. The people also try to build something, they use it to X for the stronger, to putting for something wall or something like that. But yeah, people sometimes use it X for the hair. But but did you also use it something that original material for the reconstruction?
In fact, we really don't know what the original material was. And that's our problem. We know something about that house, and that's the length and the width of the houses, but because you can, when excavating the remnants of such a house, you excavate the lower parts of all the posts. Everything in the past, when you leave this house, everything will rot. Everything above ground level will vanish. But what can stay, what will stay, is the lower part of all the posts, as wood, or when wood decays, it can leave a color in the ground. But you can still, when excavating a site, you can document these colors. Dus you know exactly, when excavating such a house, where all the posts were.
Oh.
So you know the length of the house, the width of the house. You know where the hearth was. You know the remnants of posts which carried the roof. That's what we know. But so we know the length, the width of houses, where the entrances were, where the hearth was, where maybe in Iron Age, you know the living area, because there's the hearth, you know the stable, because there's a lot of dung. There still is dung, Iron Age dung, when excavating it. So that's what you know. But how it looked like above ground level, you don't know exactly. It's a kind of reconstruction. We are not telling that we are showing you the Neolithic truth, but it's a possibility. It's a possible reconstruction of, for example, a Neolithic house using the data gathered by excavating that size, and by thinking, it could be like that because of this and this and this. For example, we don't know the covering of the roof. Is it hay?
Yes.
Is it turfs? Is it wood?
Yeah.
Or is it reed? Now, it's the western part of the Netherlands, the wet part of the Netherlands. In Neolithic times, in Iron Age times, in the Middle Ages, it was wet. There was an abundance of reed everywhere. It was for free. It was in the neighborhood. You could yield it and using it for the covering of your roof. You thatched your roof using reed. We don't know sure, but yeah, it must be. Yeah, it must be sure. It must be.
So this is not hypothek. This is much more this, or this is much more something when you have the proof with something places. When you have the you can say it. We have the proof. We find that with archaeologists.
Yeah, it's an experiment.
So
it still is an experiment. But some of our experiments they work in practice, and some not.
We cannot back to the past and ask the people how they prepare everything, because of course not everything it was the archivist in the book, and they don't have a camera and a smartphone to recording that.
But for example,
imagination.
The house behind us, it's built from elder and ash wood, covered by reed. That are not the best building materials. Oak wood is far more better, but there were no oaks here in this wet part of the Netherlands in Neolithic times. So a kind of experiment is how long can we use this house before it decays?
Yeah.
Is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? Is it 15 years? That's also a kind of experiment.